Sorry. So, things you should know. Our meetings are unrated. Otherwise, we say fuck a lot. If you've got a problem with that, you might be in the wrong place. Okay, so SecKC Code of Conduct. Anyone's harassing you, anyone's being a general nuisance, look for the yellow badge. If it's someone in a yellow badge, look for someone else with a yellow badge. Okay, so our biggest rules are destroy no data, maintain no persistence, and do no harm. That does not mean shenanigans. You cannot pull off shenanigans. We encourage those. Just don't do anything permanent. So for those of you playing Spot the Fed, we have them here. So we do encourage our state and federal law enforcement to attend our meetings. However, we do not keep a list of members. We don't keep a list of attendees, none of the above, so that's safe. Everyone is approachable. Meet someone new. Anyone's first time here tonight? Okay, so who has been here since the beginning? All right, not quite as many. So go find someone new, talk to them. We like to talk. So you're here to teach and learn from each other. You challenge ideas, not people. Okay, do you see that big wall back there that says Boulevard? So, despite the trolls, if you can't shut up during the talk, go behind the shut the fuck up wall. So, that's all I've got to say about that. SecKC happens because of our volunteers and sponsors. If you have an employer with a big pot of money, we can use some of it. And be the change you want to see at SecKC. So go to sekkc.org/connect. We do have a Slack. We have a very active Slack. If you want to be a part of this, do something. So we use Eventbrite to order pizza. You don't have to use your real name. You don't have to use any real information at all. We just need to know how much pizza to order. We don't like people going hungry. So at SecKC on Twitter, hashtag SecKC on all the things. So here's our agenda. Make excuses time is over. You're up here with me, I'm Kayla. Okay, at 6:15 we're doing the open source intel and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's it. You've been introduced to SecKC. Thank you. Let's see, what time is it? 6:06. Yep, 15 seconds.
15 seconds. Okay, so what's this look like?
Yeah. We are basically hitting Command W every 15 seconds.
Command W?
Yep,
Right, okay.
it's a Mac. All right, so welcome to the news. Sis Aaron did not throw together a slide deck, so y'all are stuck with me. And we are doing it the lazy way.
You were stuck with links.
So, Truman Medical Center hit with ransomware, and they fucking paid. What the fuck? So, yeah, they got hacked again.
All right, next one.
Blue Valley Schools battle computer virus before start of class. Jesus fucking Christ, you guys.
3 days before.
Yeah, 3 days.
All right.
GitHub sued for aiding hacking in Capital One breach. I'm like, wait, what? Huh? So, yeah, apparently they failed to detect stolen data, according to lawyer types. Former Tesla employee admits uploading autopilot source code to his iCloud. So, good job, Tesla. Good job. Bless his heart. Flaw in Zoom video conferencing software lets websites hijack Mac webcams. Ouch. So if you got a Mac and you use Zoom, sorry. Yeah, you're fucked. Everyone's fucked. We're all fucked.
That was Command 4. Command W.
Okay. So, all right, strong password Ruby gem has been hijacked. So,
Nothing that interesting.
yeah.
Next.
So, Indiana County disabled by malware attack. Yet again, another government entity gets hit by malware, and yeah. But hey, they had insurance, so it's all good. Over 90 million records leaked by Chinese Public Security Department. No, cause, yeah. So, okay, fine. GE Aviation passwords and source code exposed in Open Jenkins server. So, yay, DNS misconfig. Your sysadmins, yeah, they hold the keys to the kingdom. When they suck, you suck.
Next.
Monroe College hacked. 2 million in Bitcoin demanded as ransom. So, yeah, they're in the Bronx. Yeah.
8,000 students.
So yeah, they got 8,000 students. Apparently, none of them knew how to stop.
Next.
Bad McAfee exploit prevention update locked Windows login.
Woo!
So, I guess what we're learning is we should all be running Linux. That's what I'm getting. And McAfee sucks. Okay, so hard-coded credentials in Uniguest kiosk software leads to API compromise. So, yeah, those kiosk machines in the hotel lobbies, yeah, those have been compromised. Good job. New DNS hijacking technique. So, the same actors behind Sea Turtle come out with another DNS hijack technique. So,
that's all we know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, 6th July, ransomware attack brought down government systems at LaPorte County, Indiana. So they paid $130,000. So, yay, good job. You're only encouraging these guys.
They were down for 3 days. Next.
Okay, Decryptor released for the I'm sorry ransomware. So, good job.
Next.
Okay, 16 Shop now targeting Amazon. So, looks like phishing kit, targeting Apple account holders, and now they're going after, well, Amazon, whatever. So, Japanese exchange Bitcoin hit by $32 million cyber attack. So, yay, your Bitcoins are also not safe. How I could have, so yeah, yay, Instagram vulnerability. So, woohoo. Looks like the forgot password endpoint, yeah, is fucked, or was fucked. They fixed it.
Huzzah.
So, the GenCrab master decryption keys have been released. All right. So yeah, here's Hacktail is a gamified cyber sim platform. So you can, teach people how to quote unquote be a cyber expert. So I guess it's time for a cyber drink. Evil Gnome, rare malware spying on Linux desktop users. Crap, I gotta switch to OpenBSD now. No, using GNOME doesn't matter. KDE is better anyway. New attack lets Android apps capture loudspeaker data without any permission. Yay, our phones suck. So, newly discovered malware framework cashing in on ad fraud. So, yeah, it looks like Google AdSense is screwed. Okay, everything's screwed. So, here's some good news, though. We have some anti-facial recognition glasses. So where do I sign up for a pair, and can I get some with a prescription?
Too late. Next.
Yeah. So, catastrophic data leak via browser extensions. Too long didn't read version. Yeah. Our browser extensions also suck.
Everything sucks.
Everything does suck. Kazakhstan begins intercepting HTTPS internet traffic of all citizens. So, yeah, if you're in Kazakhstan, you're screwed. So, silence, I kill you. So, yeah, basically, AI-based antivirus product has been fucked. Scotland Yard Twitter and emails hacked because, of course, they have been. Everyone's been hacked. We're all fucked. So,
Many
yay.
times over.
Infinitely fucked. So, again, from ZDNet, hackers breach FSB contractor, exposed toward the de-anonymization project, and more. So, good job. The Russian FSB contractors have been fucked. I'd argue that's a borderline good thing, but whatever.
Next.
America. What's new in the 2019 cost of a data breach report? It costs a lot. More money than we probably have. We're screwed. Northwest Indian College suffers major file loss in ransomware incident. So, yay, ransomware. Somebody else decided, let's see, did they pay up? Doesn't say. U.S. Attorney General says encryption causes security risk. This is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit.
Boo!
Boo. All the boo. Okay, so, yay, same Indiana county, again. Weaponizing accounts receivable. So, yeah, basically looks like they use old aging reports to screw over your customers. Yay. Advanced mobile surveillance ware made in Russia, found in the wild. So, they're saying it affects Android and possibly iOS, so I guess Windows Mobile's the way to go. Okay, so.
Are you skipping that one? VLC
VLC.
is not vulnerable.
Yeah. So VLC is not vulnerable. A third-party library is vulnerable. So.
Too late.
All fucked. AT&T faces court showdown over $224 million SIM swap case. Basically, yeah, your SIM information, switching over accounts, yeah, it's all fucked. Yay, Death Star. Opening a document in LibreOffice can hack your computer. So, damn, I guess we gotta use Microsoft now. Fuck.
You're screwed.
Yeah. Bluekeep discovered in Watchdog crypto mining malware. So, yay, crypto mining. This is a Linux exploit. So, yeah, we're all fucked. Let's switch to OpenBSD. Louisiana governor declares state emergency after local ransomware outbreak. 3 school districts. So, yay, emergency, Louisiana. Yeah, they're fucked. Stock trading app Robinhood says user passwords were readable on internal systems. So, if you use Robinhood, you're fucked. APT-17 is run by the Chinese Ministry of State Security. So, big surprise, the Chinese government has an APT group.
Oh no!
Oh no, another APT run by the Chinese government. Whatever shall we do? So, Marcus Hutchins, malware researcher and WannaCry hero, sentenced to supervised release. So, yay that he's not in jail, boo that, government doesn't understand hacking. This is also true. Seattle tech worker arrested for data theft involving large financial services company. So, quote unquote, use knowledge of service and cloud storage. So yeah, this is the Capital One breach. Don't brag about it on the social media, please. Thank you. Teenage hackers offered a second chance under European experiment. So, yes, basically, take these kids who are, hacking for lulz and try and make them good guys.
12 to 23-year-olds.
Yeah, 12 to 23-year-olds, so the young kids. GitHub confirms it has blocked developers in Iran, Syria, and Crimea. So, I'm just like, okay. Okay, so critical vulnerabilities, remote compromise, VxWorks. So, yay, real-time operating system runs on a bunch of your fun embedded devices, network stacks, yada, yada, yada. It's fucked.
It's a white paper, go read it.
Yeah. White papers are boring. So, Android devices could be hacked by playing a video due to CVE blah. So, yeah, affects Android OS between version 7 and 9. So,
wow.
Yeah, we're fucked.
We're fucked.
Fake Google domains used in evasive Magento skimmer. So, yay, looks like credit card data, stealing, yada, 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 going after your cards are fucked. Imperva blocks our largest DDoS brute force attack ever. So, yay Imperva. Exposed password, let hackers access internal Komodo files. So, yay, our SSL certificates are, well, sorry, former SSL cert issuer, well, they're fucked. We're a supposedly security company, they can't secure their shit, whatever.
Don't use Komodo.
FormGit, security labs exposed, yeah, lots of documents. Passports, paychecks, yada, yada, yada. A more compelling and relatable visual language for cybersecurity. Basically, how do we make it pretty for people that don't understand what we're doing? It's a white paper, go read it. So, War on Pineapple, Understanding Foreign Influence in 5 Steps. Yeah, it's a flyer from, yeah, government entity, go read it. Cyber attack on LAPD confirmed. Data breach impacts thousands of officers. Yay.
They're fucked.
Yeah, they're fucked. So, yeah, sarcastic yay. So, Google researchers disclose vulnerabilities for interactionless iOS attacks. So, iPhone users, you're all fucked. So, crypto attacks, guide for the perplexed, quick overview, yada, yada. It's all white paper bullshit, go read it. Google researchers disclose vulnerabilities. Okay, we already covered that one. So, Android ransomware uses SMS spam to infect victims. So, yeah. Android 5 or later, so I guess go back to Jelly Bean. AWS engineer arrest, yeah, okay, yeah. Capital One, we've already covered that. LAPD caught up in data breach, yeah, we covered that, so. Sephora offers monitoring services in wake of data breach, so for the few of us in this room who do shop at Sephora, myself included, yeah, never mind, doesn't affect the US, we're not fucked.
Nope, we're good.
Ransomware attack impacts 522,000 patients in Puerto Rico. So, yeah, they're fucked, and why would you go after a children's center, you bastards? So, yeah. Somebody's always listening to me. So, basically, if you have this certain camera, yeah, the firmware, yeah, it's leaking your shit. We're fucked. Syracuse ransomware impact, yeah, whatever.
50,000?
Yeah, only 50,000, so then the insurance pays the rest. Yay, cybersecurity insurance, making ransomware profitable. So, yay to more school districts.
Watertown.
Yeah, Watertown, wherever that is. K-Fox 14, blah. Yeah, they're fucked. Nation-state actors go all in on mobile malware. So our phones are fucked. So yeah, Fancy Bear, Berserk Bear, Stat Kitten, Visceroid Tiger, blah. Yeah, it's all APTs attacking phones. We're fucked. Capital One breach also hit other companies, say researchers. So, Vodafone, Ford, Michigan State, Ohio Department of Transportation. Yeah, they are also fucked. So, airdrop and password sharing features can leak iPhone numbers. So, yay, partial hashes, leak your phone number. Yay, security. Malvertising, yada, yada, yada. Okay, exploits using advertising, yeah. Okay, Pearson says data breach affected thousands of accounts in the US. So, yeah. Shut it down, they're charging us too much to take our cert tests anyway.
13,000.
So, woo. Yet another hacking group is targeting oil and gas companies. In other news, water is wet, the sun shines, and the sky is blue. Voter records for 80% of Chile's population left exposed online. The Electoral Service confirms authenticity but denies it owns the leaky server. Yeah, about that. So yeah, if you voted in Chile, you're fucked. PowerShell Empire framework is no longer maintained. So this is a big boo. Fuck those guys. So detecting incognito mode in Chrome 76 with a timing attack. So yeah, it looks like. So yeah, if somebody uses it as a way to detect us getting around the paywalls, we're fucked. Enter Mordor, pre-recorded security events from simulated adversarial techniques. So yeah, it's basically collecting data. Yeah. So nope, not subscribed. Capel 1 breach, Cloud Goat scenario. More stuff about the Capel 1 breach, yay. So, yep, there's GitHub. Synthetic identity fraud in the US payment system causes contributing factors. It's a white paper, go read it. So, yay, E something I can't pronounce ransomware. It's an E something whatever, yeah. So, yeah, yay ransomware. Agent Smith, new mobile device virus. So, yeah, based India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and US devices are starting to be affected. So, be careful, yeah. And we're done. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to August SecKC. How many people went to summer camp in Vegas? And you still made it. Congratulations. That's awesome. Tonight, we're gonna hack some shit. We've got 2 great talks lined up. But first, who likes free shit? All right. Well, guess what? Our sponsor, Valiant Solutions, in the back is running a raffle. And they're gonna be giving away some free shit. I would encourage you all to go back and visit them and sign up for the raffle. We're going to do that between the 2 talks. So please go back there and sign up. Speaking of sign up, who all is on our Slack channel? All right. If you're not on Slack, I would encourage you to join Slack. SecKC never stops on Slack. We have all kinds of different channels. General Random, Outhouse, Capture the Flag, other cons and events where you find out about other groups in the area, such as the DevOps group. Cloud Security Alliance has some stuff coming up, and also the AWS group and various others. If you have something yourself and you'd like to post it in there, please see that channel, other cons and events. Likewise, if you think that you're as cool as Valiant Solutions and you'd like to sponsor SecKC, please visit our website and look into sign up to sponsor. So, tonight we have dispareō. And he's going to tell us about erasing our digital footprint, how to disappear on the web. So please give a big round of applause.
Good evening, folks. So I don't know about you guys, but I know Sis Aaron does the news a lot. He left some pretty big shoes to fill. So can we give Kayla a round of applause for doing the news? Knocked it out of the park. Way to go. So one thing that I feel pretty strongly about is disappearing from the interwebs, because everything we do is tracked, right? Absolutely everything you do. And we just went through all the news, and we heard about like 1 million breaches. And every single month we hear about breaches and breaches and breaches with your data everywhere. So one of the things is, how do you get rid of that? If you're hacked, do you really think that an Equifax monitoring for X amount of years or whatever is really going to help it? I don't think that it is. I don't think that's sufficient. So I like the idea of taking my privacy and my information into my own hands. One of the things about tracking, and about digitally tracking especially, just about everything you do, anything you do on Amazon, anything you do on the commerce, anytime you sign up for an account for virtually anything, somebody's got your data somewhere and it's all for sale. To me, it's kind of creepy. It's almost like a PI just walking everywhere and taking pictures of everything you do and aggregating all that information together. And when you look at stuff like Google, they know more about you than your own spouse does. They know what time you wake up. They know what time your commute is. There's just a lot of information out there everywhere. So I wanted to kind of put together some of the information about it. I'm not going to try to convince you that you should erase your digital footprints. Most of you may have an idea already of like, hey, this is kind of wild. I want to get rid of it. Or, it's not that big of a deal. I like free tacos on Tuesday. Right? Everybody kind of has their own opinion. So, but this is for the people who don't really care that much about Taco Tuesday and they're going to pay full price, right? So a lot of it comes down to targeted advertising. So one of the things that you want to do to try to get rid of it, when you're doing targeted advertising, a lot of companies will pair together a lot of... Sorry, guys. Found the reverb. Just making sure everybody's awake here. So what you want to do, you want to try to avoid a lot of the companies that do the targeted tracking, stuff like Axiom. You got to get rid of a lot of the major companies there. I'm going to try to peek around here without the speaker because I don't have a slide to show me which slide I'm on. Stuff like Prosopo, People Finder, Axiom, they all just gather everything. And to me, I got something in the mail saying what my income was, what my political affiliation was, what stores I like to buy from. I saw that, I was like, wow, this is just crazy. So if you really do want to opt out of it, you're not really okay with everybody having that. Here are some steps that you can work through to get to that. So you got to get rid of social media. And I know some people are all about it. They don't want any kind of footprints out there. Some people, Twitter obviously is a big part of SecKC and a lot of the people who use SecKC. But Google, LinkedIn, Facebook is probably the worst. And I think the big breach, they've had several big things lately with the analytics and all that kind of stuff. So those are the first to go. But let not your heart be troubled. There are some alternatives you can do, not for the social media, but for some of the other stuff that you can do. So if you have Android, you can use something like Lineage. I've used Copperhead in the past. Copperhead's no longer supported, but it's still a great ROM. But Lineage is still actively supported. It gets rid of Google. It gets all that stuff out of there. You can use repos like F-Droid is a good non-Google. The problem you're going to run into with Android is you are going to have some stuff that requires Google Play, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, but to me it's worth it to recapture my information. Also, Zoho is a great hosting site, lots of business apps. That takes the place of Google Drive. So Zoho has all kind of different apps, and it's mostly free. If you wanted to kick Google, the search engine, which is kind of what started a lot of this, is what you're searching for, try something like DuckDuckGo. They don't track your information. You may deal with some of the results not being identical. You may have to go to the actual second page, which in Google is kind of a rare thing. But DuckDuckGo actually does really care a lot more about your privacy. Pair that together with Firefox and a couple of NoScript and maybe some other add-ons, and you get to sacrifice a little bit of convenience for an awful lot of privacy and a lot of secure information. I'm a huge fan of Firefox. I know if you haven't used it yet, I encourage you to at least try it. I know there's also Brave. There's also a Firefox Focus for your phone, stuff like that. So there's definitely some alternatives out there. You're not stuck on just Google. You can go to Proton Mail instead of using Google Chrome. You can host, or instead of using Gmail, you can host your own email. There's other alternatives out there. They do exist. So some of the things that you want to do if you want to be just as digital as possible, as private as possible, you want to have a fresh install. So what websites do when they track your browser is they do something called fingerprinting. They look at your JavaScript and they see what items you're uploading. They look at your basic locale language. They look at a lot of different pieces of your software there. They look at what browser you're using, what build that browser is, and they take all those points together and they aggregate it into one fingerprint. Most of the time, when I say most of the time, I'm talking about 1 in like 16 million. Most of the time, your browser can be uniquely tracked back to you individually. Some of the time that doesn't matter if you're just Googling something on Stack Exchange, but again, I just don't like the idea of having my information all over for the entire public to see, because when I get breached, and eventually one of my accounts are going to get breached, it's happened several times over, I know that information is everywhere, and I don't want to have to try to figure out who has what information, where am I vulnerable, where am I not vulnerable. I would rather just take some extra steps to get rid of the convenience in exchange for knowing that my information is almost always safe, as much as realistic anyway. So some of the things you can also do, VPNs and proxies. I won't go into too much detail about that because most of you know what they are. If you don't, you can come talk to me afterwards. But VPNs and proxies will hide a lot of your data. They'll hide a lot of your information. Use a VM. Just pop up a VM, just a Win10 fresh install with a Chrome fresh install or a Firefox fresh install. And if you haven't downloaded any information from web pages yet, those little pieces of code haven't started accumulating to paint the broader picture of what it is that you do and what it is you download. So as generic as possible. Also, if you're concerned about physical security, this is my house, it's all blurred out, you can do that. Yes, it's a thing. Maybe I'm paranoid, I don't know, but I just don't like the idea of somebody being able to look at my house and trying to figure out, where could I break into this or that. I live in a sleepy neighborhood in Blue Springs, so nothing's ever going to happen, but just something to say, hey, this is possible that you can do that. Something that's within your rights as a Google user or person to do that. So if you wanted to absolutely get rid of it and scrub it, you have the people finders, you have the prosopos, and they have all your information, your name, your address, your phone numbers, your email addresses going back to when you were 13 and first signed up with MySpace. There's a couple things you can do. I don't endorse these products. I'm not trying to pitch them to you, but I just want you to know they do exist. They are available. You could also do it yourself. There is a spreadsheet around here. I'll grab it and throw it into general a little bit later on, but there's a spreadsheet that has all kinds of different sites that accumulate this kind of information with your name and your income and your marital status and all kind of stuff, and then you can request to opt out. For me, it took about 3 or 4 weeks. It was a time-consuming process. It probably spent a collective sum of about 20 hours or so on it over the course of those weeks. But to me, it was worth it because I know when Capital One got breached, I don't care. You don't have my real information, so it doesn't matter to me, right? So anyway, that's I guess about all that I have for that. I think in conclusion, tracking your digital information is something like anything else. Some people are okay with it. I personally just like the idea of having the peace of mind of knowing that I'm generally going to be safe for almost any breach. So thank you guys for coming out, and have a good evening.
those annoying tablets, and we're gonna pick some names. We have 5 different gifts up here. Go ahead. Pick the first one. All right. For the first gift is the mug that says, "No, I will not fix your computer." For Justin Williams. Is that the one you wanted? All right, the next one is it's a mini arcade handheld. It's got 200 built-in video games. Really not sure how that whole thing works, but whoever wins will get to try it out. William Nichols. We have the Snapton S5C Wi-Fi drone with a 720p camera. I spoke to him earlier. Ari Ramachan. Fourth one is it is an Infinity Orb magnetic levitating Bluetooth speaker. Nate Johnson. You always wanted.
All right, hey everybody, my name's Hef, and I'm probably the longest lasting groupie among all the really cool people that run SecKC around here. Matt was saying he was running short one gift raffle prize that he wanted to give out. So I talked to the Badge Pirates. I have an official DEF CON Badge Pirates SecKC DEF CON 27 badge up here for the next winner. Must be present to win. Delaney Sawyers. Hey! All right. Wear as well. Thanks, everybody.
got 5 minutes or something?
Yeah. right, all right.
All right.
Next up, we have Daniel Lawson, who's going to show us how to do external pen testing like a boss. Please give it up.
All right, hi. So I'm going to be going over a tool that myself, along with many of my coworkers, have put a lot of time into. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's called Armory. First, I'm going to go over, pretty much the what and the why. So just to give you an idea who I am, my name is Dan Lawson. I'm a pen tester with Depth Security. Before getting into life security, I was a sysadmin for about a decade. I've also done quite a bit in the bug bounty space, Twitter, Fang0654, and GitHub, Fang0654. So the problem, because every good tool needs a good problem to solve, right? As a pen tester and bounty hunter and pretty much everything in between, we have a very large problem on our hands right now. And it's pretty much with tooling. We're currently in a tool renaissance. New tools are being released almost weekly. Some of these tools are far superior to their predecessors. You remember when all you had to remember was just run Dirbuster, and it was nice and easy? Then came along Dirbuster NG, and then Burp Find Content, and then we had GoBuster. Now we have Fuff. It's the tools keep on evolving very quickly. So the real problem is that all these tools that come out do not work together. They usually have their own unique output format, where be it JSON or just plain text or XML or a combination of the above sitting inside a static directory in your home folder, Aquatone. There's no way to deduplicate between tools. If you use one tool and it finds the same results as another tool, you pretty much have to do a lot of grepping and awking and setting to pretty much work all the data back together. And different tools handle threading differently. I've had plenty of times where I've had a scan going where I am brute forcing for content, and I come back and find out that I hit one site that's really slow to respond, and everything pretty much stopped right there. So Armory the purpose of Armory is to take public tools, be able to actually ingest the results from the tools into a database, and then use that database to run other tools. It's pretty much putting a glue between all these various public tools. This has a lot of advantages. First of all, you can use various different tools that are the same quote-unquote category to get a better coverage. For example, there's a million different DNS recon tools. Sublister will find stuff that most others won't, but then you'll have Aquatone Discover find stuff that other ones should have found. You'll have so on and so forth. You'll have lots of different, everything will have its little bit of results to add to it. With Armory, there's no more having to parse text files or try to dig through the results that pop out. And I think this is the big part that sets Armory apart from the various other frameworks that are out there, is I am not trying to reinvent the wheel. We don't want to, I don't want to rewrite Nmap, I don't want to rewrite a DNS brute forcer or anything else. Lots of other people are doing it, and they're doing great jobs out of it, and I'd rather just use their hard work and not do it over again. So because of that, Armory is extremely modular. I've designed it so that it's very easy to spin up new modules, to run brand new tools as they come out, and to very easily just put the data back in the database or use the data from the database. Because of this, and all the data being in the database, it's also very easy to generate reports that can give you the data in some usable format. Be it something that you can actually paste into an actual report, or something that you can work off of to further testing, or even something you use as a guide to do your entire methodology. So to kind of give an idea of how this tool works and what its capabilities are, I figured I'll run through it a quick little demo. This is a bounty hunting methodology. There's many other methodologies that you can do with it. It's pretty much how you decide to work. I picked the site irccloud.com because they have a pretty, they have a decent little scope, so it works good for a demo. And it's an open thing, so I don't go to jail. All right, so this is IRC Cloud's public bounty. This is just a little clip of it off of HackerOne. It's pretty much irccloud.com and irccloud-cdn.com. Some subdomains under there, but lots of wildcards too. So pretty much the plan of attack, and this is how a lot of bounty hunting methodologies go. First, we want to get the scope data into the database so that we have something to attack from. Then we're going to use various DNS recon tools to find more hosts because we have a wildcard there, so the more we find, the better. Then we'll use some DNS brute forcing to even find even more hosts. We'll use Shodan to map out what actual ports and services are running on these hosts, followed up with Nmap because then we can actually be very thorough. We'll then find all the web services and take screenshots with GoWitness. Then we'll use FUF, which anybody that does directory brute forcing, this tool is awesome. We'll use FUF to look for some quick wins with the quick hits word list from SecLists. So pretty basic standard stuff. So the first thing we do is we go and, I don't know how easy it is to see over here, but I've got a hosts file up there that pretty much just has the domains in it. Ingest those in. Armory will automatically look up IPs. The IPs that it finds, it'll look up the CIDRs and the owners of those CIDRs, just because that's actually very useful information to have, and I'll show why later. The other thing to mention here is Armory has two types of scoping, active scope and passive scope. Active scope means that something is, you're allowed to go and touch it and get real personal with it. That's things like port scans and actually web attacks and stuff like that. Passive scope means you may not have permission to touch it. A lot of times you'll find this with, say, for example, you have a couple of CIDRs that are in scope. You find some domains on there. You brute force those domains, find lots of other sites that are not in those CIDRs. You're totally fine to go and brute force the domains, that's not touching anything. But those other sites, be they GoDaddy, landing pages or whatever, won't be in scope. So we have that as passive scope. So you can still hit it, but it's not going to land you in jail. First tool we run is just SubFinder. It goes through, one of the other things about Armory, you can see I'm just using a -i tag with it. It pulls the things from the database. It remembers the domains that have already been run, so if you add more domains later, it won't rerun that tool on them. It also does threading by default. So you can see here, it's actually running SubFinder 2 times in parallel because there's 2 domains. By default, it does 10 threads. For things like this, especially Go-based applications that do their own threading, this really unleashes the power of it because you can have them do their own threading on a per site basis and then do it over a very wide scope. You may max out your computer, but that's what it's there for. We also do the same with Sublister, running it twice in a row. Same thing with Aquatone Discover. I use the old Aquatone just because the Ruby one, it still finds stuff. And then after that's done, we can go and take a look, and you can see here's one of the reports. It's a thing I call CIDR report. It shows you, based on the owners and the CIDRs, what hosts are where. So there you could quickly see what looks interesting, what is behind Akamai and will most likely get you in trouble with your significant other because Southwest is now blacklisted, or so on and so forth. So on this one, at the very end of it, all this stuff is on Amazon, and then there's all these sites that are sitting on level 3. This is probably a data center somewhere. This, as an attacker, would be more interesting to me than all this stuff on Amazon because this is more likely sitting on their own network. After that, just for good measure, we ran GoBusters DNS brute forcing with a small word list and did the same thing, 2 at once. So now we have all the domains, we want to go and get some hosts and services. For speed's sake, I use Shodan right off the bat. I have an API key. I have it actually in a config file, which I'll show later. And you can go and do this pretty quickly, host after host after host. doesn't use any credits. I really can't believe I didn't know about this sooner. But this will very quickly find out ports that are open and what services are running on them, and more importantly, which ones are web services, because that's usually what most of the attacking is done on. We also ran nmap. You can see with the command being run here, there's also a tool args. That's a generic command that means everything after this gets passed straight to the tool. So all the rest of these are options I'm passing straight to nmap. That way, if you write a module, you don't have to code in and match up every possible option that module has into Armory. You just have to worry about the database stuff and let the person pass through the rest on their own. So after we have that, we have some web services, we know what stuff is, we run Go Witness. Go Witness goes through, as a lot of you know, takes screenshots of all the web services. Additionally, we run FUF, and here you can see that multi-threading really going, really on display. A lot of times I run into trouble with FUF where I get complaints because running it at 50 threads brings the server to its knees. So what I'll do is, and here I have a lot of different web hosts. I'll run 20, you know, in a real thing I'd probably run closer to 50 or 100, but Armory threads, and then only 5 or 10 FUF threads. So then it's spreading the entire thing out over their entire landscape, still tearing through and chewing through everything quickly. That way you're not just stuck waiting host after host after host, and then worrying about stuff going down. So now that we have all that data, another report that I have is called the host summary. And this report's not totally published yet, still in progress. Probably be up on the GitHub in a couple of weeks. This report is awesome, if I do say so myself. What it does is it generates an HTML output similar to Go Witness, and I stole a lot of the template from Go Witness. But what it does is it has all the IPs, as you can see here, along with what ports are open, what data sources have data on them. Right now it only supports Nessus, Go Witness, and FUF. But I'll tell you what, going on a large external and being able to say, okay, here's port, you know, 8080 on this thing. Here are the Nessus findings that came up with it. Oh, that's that thing that has the, you know, the directory listing enabled. Okay, let's see what we could find in there. You know, you also have the actual Go Witness results, and Go Witness gives you the actual, you know, screenshots that it could take. Additionally, it'll also group things by, you know, the IP and any domains that are found, and do a separate request for each one. So on this server, I had 2 different domains came up. I had the IP address, and I had the actual desktop.irccloud.com. You can see they came up with different results. A lot of times you could find, you know, sites that have different virtual hosts and stuff like that this way. I've also got the FUF results, which only ran with quick hits, didn't find much, but found a notes page, which, you know, has, in this case, the changelog for the application that you could download there. I find a lot of good exploitable stuff this way. And being able to hit a large, you know, large area in one shot makes things way easier, because 9 sites out of 10 that you hit don't have a backup.tgz sitting there. But, you know, if you can quickly get to the one that does, you know, you get to win. And especially bounty hunting, where it's pretty much first come, first serve, being able to get through there quicker helps a lot. So that's a basic run through of what a basic workflow would be. And that's usually how I would start an external and give me like a jumping point to actually then go and do the actual testing. Now I'm gonna go over the actual internals on Armory and how it actually works, like what's going on behind the scenes and how to expand it. So the architecture is designed to be modular. From the very beginning, that's how it was built. I took a lot of inspiration from CrackMapIsec, where you can pretty much just build modules pretty easily to do different things. Everything is written in Python. Most of the modules have templates, so you can go and just easily spin up stuff. So the basic architecture, you've got the main Armory application, you've got the database, which I'll go more into, you've got the standard modules. There's also a configuration option for custom modules. This being that they could be in a different directory path. So as Armory gets updated, you don't have to worry about messing with those. They don't conflict with each other. You don't get GitHub errors or Git errors or anything of that sort. And it's very useful because everybody has custom stuff, you know, especially in the reporting side of things. You'll have a lot of custom reports on data exactly how you want it. You may not necessarily want to share that with the world. So this allows you to keep two sets of modules cleanly apart. It's also very easy for development because you don't have to reinstall anything. So the actual database itself, it's built using SQL Alchemy, Python SQL Alchemy. We've tested it with SQLite and MariaDB. Other backends should work no problem. I just haven't really tested them. I'm sure there'll be random issues of this column has to be defined a certain way and stuff like that, but that's pretty much how it always goes. As the requests come in, we'll try out Postgre and maybe SQL Server and stuff. Just to give you a quick rundown of the actual data that can be tracked in the database. We have base domains, which are the actual root domains. These are tracked for the case of DNS, like domain name brute forcing, stuff of that nature. You have actual domains, those include root domains, but also all the subdomains. These would actually get tied to IP addresses, so on and so forth. It's a many-to-many relationship between domains and IPs. One domain could have several IPs, one IP could have several domains. Citers are the actual discovered citers via whois. Unfortunately, I had to make a separate citer, scope citers, because whois is kind of flaky. Sometimes you'll get an exact subnet of what you should have. Sometimes you'll have an ISP/20. Unfortunately, I haven't found a better way to get around that. So for actually scoping stuff, it goes to scope citers. IP addresses are pretty obvious. Ports include the port numbers, the protocol type, the service information, you know, FTP, HTTP, so on, so forth. Vulnerabilities are right now imported from Nessus. In the future, I'm going to have the Nmap findings in there as well, plus anything else I could think of that would spit them out. CVEs are more tied into the vulnerability stuff, which actually downloads the CVE descriptions and the ratings. And then users are for actually dealing with user information. So for example, usernames scraped off of LinkedIn, you know, the email addresses. We keep our own internal database of breaches, public breaches. I'm sure other people do too. We can get the, you know, known passwords from there, so on and so forth. So modules themselves are used for either running tools with data either from the command line or from the database. They can process results back into the database, or they can just spit them out in files in the directory if there's nothing you want to do with it post-processing. You could also have modules do other stuff. For example, the Shodan one talks to Shodan's API. There is no Shodan tool out that I know of, but it's pretty straightforward. For the generic modules, examples of them, you know, Subfinder, Nmap, FUF, Shodan, GoWitness. There's currently 28 modules included. And just to give an idea of what the module template looks like, this is a sample one that comes with it that you can easily modify. All you have to do is build a function for getting the targets, either pulling them from the database, building the command to run, and then processing the output. So we tried to abstract as much of the pain in the butt stuff as possible. All the threading is pulled out of it, so on and so forth. With the reports are a means of getting information back out of the database. It's not necessarily, you know, quote unquote pen test reports, but more just being able to use the data that you have in there. You saw a couple of examples. There's, you know, 12 total publicly, and we've got probably about 20 that we use internally for our own reporting. But it's, you know, we have a CIDR report, which you saw, a service report, which gives more like an Nmap display, host summary report. The CIDR port report is like the CIDR report, but also has services that are open. These are all things to pretty much use the focus where you're putting your attention and what's a waste of time. Custom reports, they're pretty easy to do. They're a little bit more complicated than the tools, but most of the reports can be spit out in either JSON, plain text, or Markdown. or a custom markdown if you want to set that. And then the last part is the configuration. So every module has its own config file where pretty much any command line option can be set in the config file. This makes it really easy for things that you do all the time. So for example, the Shodan one, I can keep the API key in the config file. I don't have to pass it on the command line every time. When you first run Armory, a template is made for all the installed modules, and the default configuration folder is in your home directory in .armory. There's also a settings.ini, which is what this is. That's pretty much your settings for that project. You can rename it something else and use the environment variable to set what it's going to be. But this pretty much says where is all the output stored, where are your custom folders at, what type of database you're using, where the database creds, so on and so forth. And then this is just an example of the Shodan. So at the top is the actual sample, which is just built with every option that is built in the tool. And then my actual config, which just has my API key, which makes things a lot easier to run through. So in conclusion, Armory, you can check it out at depsecurity.com/Armory. We're always welcome for more contributions. We've got a lot of documentation in the wiki, how to build modules, how to install it, so on and so forth. We're always adding new stuff to it, pretty much as we get new ideas from new work we're working on. I've got a Docker file about 95% complete right now that installs everything for you, which is pretty slick, but that's still in a kind of beta. And that's pretty much all I got. Any questions?
Yeah, that's just your own API key, and you're just making available for your own use more easily, right?
Yeah. So I had signed up with a Shodan account. It was on like a Black Friday or something where they give you like a lifetime account, and it's just my own API key. The cool thing about the Shodan searches, as long as you're doing base IP searches, they don't count against your credits. So you can just, I've used the API key on massive, large scopes, which it's also rate limited to 1 request a second, but it's still a lot faster than the initial Nmap. And it's good to get some initial information, and then you could start going through stuff while something more thorough like Nmap is running.
But you're fully external the whole time. You're not getting an API key from someone else's internal API.
Yeah, no, this is fully external. We do have a lot of stuff built into it, using it internally on internal assessments, but the main focus on it is more external testing, finding ways of breaking in from the outside. Just to give you an idea of some modules we're working on right now, is we're looking for good AD brute forcing modules to go and pull right from the user stuff. We have a LinkedIn module that uses a modified version of LinkedIn that I put together to go and pretty much scrape LinkedIn with your, because everybody has their own recruiter account or free account, but so to go and scrape all the users and build the email and all that type of stuff. And then at the very least right now, it'll spit you out email lists to use in password spraying attacks and stuff like that.
Awesome, thanks.
Cool. Any other questions? All right, that's all I got. What's that?
Dan, not Daniel.
No, it's Daniel on the website.
Yeah,
so
I read it
I go
right
by
off the
all of them.
site. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. All right, sweet. I was like perfect on timing.
Cool, man. Very cool. Thanks, man. That was awesome.
All right, no problem.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah. Finished up the presentation about 4:59. Oh, by the way, so Ryan told me I was supposed to get a history. So I was like, give me this one.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. That's all the content we have for tonight. But make sure to come back next month and feel free to hang out till 9, listen to the tunes, tip your waitress. Thank you.